Okay. This is the silent version. Don't be doing this to me. I'm getting louder. This is my second talk. And is anybody here on the first one? Okay, so we've got a couple of people. I have nothing rehearsed on these. Can you hear me? Have you got a bass on this? 1, 2. 1, 2. I tell you what. Can I get the handheld mic, please? Yeah. One, two. 1, 2. 1, 2. Hello, hello. 1, 2. There we go. That's got a bit of tone to it. If it's too, yeah, that's. Okay, so this is an open.
She'll be helpful when you want someone asks questions. Take that, give it to her, and she'll take it to them.
Cool, that's great. Hang out with me. All right. So as I was saying, this is an open forum. This is where I'm going to talk a little bit about my own findings and opinions on solving bird problems. I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try not to repeat what I did on the first one. But obviously, there's quite a lot of you that weren't here on the first one, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. Okay. Has anybody brought any birds in for me to actually work with, to do anything with this time? No, they were all on the first thing. You, okay, little Quaker. Oh, the little cockatiel. Okay, I'm gonna, just so I know, I'm gonna get round to you. Okay. As far as obviously, my name's Corene, by the way. I'm a bird behaviorist, behavior modification trainer, come healer, come all that sort of stuff. And basically what I try to do is impart information to people who are thinking about having a bird or have got a bird about how to build a companionship with their birds. Can you all hear me? Are you sure? Because we can go up a little bit. There we go. Because these guys are all just hooping and hollering, and they know it's time to go home. That's a bit better. I believe we are parents to our birds. I don't like to use the word owner because it brings on a different type of perspective as to what the relationship is between our bird and us, okay? And we are companions with our birds. We are about teaching them how to live in our environment. Most birds we have now are only 1, maybe at most 2 generations away from being in the wild. So they are still genetically imprinted and hot-wired to their natural behaviors in the wild. Their natural behaviors in the wild is where a lot of behavior-solving problems are resolved. And I mentioned this in my first talk. A lot of times, if we look to see how they perform and how they behave in their natural environment, or would do in their natural environment, we normally can find the solution to what's going on now. In other words, why does my bird bite me? Why is it screaming? Why isn't it eating pellets? Or won't stay on my hand, or why does it bite me when it's on my shoulder, and all those sort of common problems that I come across. I really believe in socializing birds and teaching them, nurturing them as we do our children with positive reinforcement. Their environment is so small since we brought them into our world. Normally they are in a cage and they're let out in the house. If they're a fortunate bird, they can go out onto the patio or to the screened area. And that a lot of time is the extent of a bird's world. And I really do believe we owe it to them to expand that world a little bit more and show them interesting things. be prepared to take them out into the world, take them out to stores that accept them, to pet stores, to get them on to other people, to take them to the park, and do all those sort of things. Otherwise, we close their world down, and they become quite, I want to say bitter, but those sort of behaviors start to come out. They get a little bit resentful, a bit hateful, as we would do if we were stuck in a room all day. And they actually trust you, and you build a bond with them the more you do with them, as you would do your dog, okay? If you take a dog to the park, you put your dog in the back of the car, you take it to the beach, you'll notice the bondship and the companionship that you're building with your dog is far better than if you just have that dog and then just let it out in the yard and bring it in, let it out in the yard and bring it in, okay? Because they have to trust you're introducing them to new environments. You are responsible for showing them really cool things that they enjoy, and they start to rely on you to educate them, and then the respect comes. Does any of this make sense? Okay. Would anybody mind if I sit down? Would you better see me if I sat down on the edge of this stage so I can just have a casual chat with you? I normally bring a stool. There we go. There we go. That's a bit homey for you, isn't it? That's a bit sort of bit comfortable. Has anybody got, before I start going on any further, and I'm going to be very general because normally I have specific topics when I talk, and this time I've specifically open forumed it so I can just chat and discuss things. But if you've got specific questions you want to ask me, absolutely put your hand up. We'll get a mic over to you, and then the rest of us can enjoy your question and listen to the answer. Okay? So if you have a question or you want to stop me at any time, just put your hand up, and I'll stop, and I'll get a mic out to you, and you can ask your question. But companionship with birds. Not only do we want to change their environment and build their world that goes beyond their house, your house, we need to learn how to communicate better with them. It's very much like, has anybody experienced going to a different country where they speak a completely different language? Has anybody done that? Been able to over to Europe, or anywhere, or Spain, or somewhere where you just haven't got a clue what they're saying? You feel completely isolated. What I'm trying to do is get you to think what a bird is going through. We expect so much from our birds, but they know more about us than we know about them. And I think it's about time we actually got to feel and think and see the world through their eyes, okay? They have not got a clue what we are saying to them, especially if you've only got one bird in the house. Who knows when we have an African grey and we have an Amazon or a macaw, that they actually speak the same language to each other? Has anybody thought about that? The one coming from different continents, that they actually can understand what each other is saying? Has anybody thought about that? We don't know. Nobody knows. We know so little about these birds. A bird from Africa or somebody from Africa is not going to be able to understand what somebody from Puerto Rico says, for sure. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing some things for you to think about. Somebody brought up something that when we play music, how presumptuous we are about our birds, that we play music, and it doesn't matter what radio channel that we're on, it's very presumptuous of us and very human